I'll pick up the litter, I ain't no quitter, yeah. I'm glad to bend down and touch the solid ground. I'll pick up the litter, I ain't no quitter, no, no.
I'm Caryn Hartglass with Responsible Eating and Living. I'm here at the 10th Annual Shindig for the Catskill Animal Sanctuary, and I'm talking with Zoe Weil, the co-founder of the Institute for Humane Education. So there are lots of issues today that are so overwhelming to people. Environmental degradation and all the healthcare issues, the chronic diseases, obesity, they seem so insurmountable. And so many people feel like there's nothing that they can do, that the government doesn't listen to them, and so what's the point of making any changes? And unfortunately, I think that's a message that we give a lot to our children. Then there's humane education. Where does that fit in?
Humane education is probably the most heartening and exciting solution to all of those problems. And I ended up being a humane educator when I too was frustrated by how little difference I felt like I could make if I was writing to my legislators or if I was leafleting or tabling. Not that those things aren't important, but I was frustrated when I didn't feel listened to. And then I taught my first humane education class, and this was about 25 years ago. And I watched in amazement as these young people, they were middle schoolers in this first class, were transformed over the course of a one-week summer course. And they became activists, they became change makers, they changed their diets, they changed their lifestyles, they wanted to learn more, they started school clubs, they went on to win awards. And interestingly, one of them I just saw a year ago, and he's a 35-year-old man now, and he's still doing amazing work. He's working in HIV/AIDS activism for the mayor of New York City. And he came to an event where I was speaking, and I was introducing him afterwards to some friends. And I introduced him as David, who took the very first humane education course I taught, and he just jumped in and said, "That course changed my life." Now he was 12 years old, and now he's 35.
That gives me chills.
I know. And so that was the summer that I realized when I was in my 20s that I'd found my life's work as a humane educator. And what I see in humane education is a different way of thinking about all of these problems. You know, I don't know the answers to all of our problems. I mean, we have war, we have ice caps melting, we have people living in poverty, slavery, animal cruelty that's just so rampant and so astronomical, it's hard to even wrap our brains around. There are so many pressing global issues. I have no idea how to solve them all, but I do know that if we educate youth in age-appropriate ways and we give them the knowledge and the tools and the motivation to perceive themselves as solutionaries no matter what careers they go into, if they actually know how to be conscientious choice makers and engage change makers for a better world, then when they graduate and they go into whatever fields they go into, and it doesn't matter if it's architecture and engineering, or if it's healthcare, or if it's farming, or if it's nursing, or if it's becoming a beautician or a plumber, whatever they go into, if they perceive themselves as responsible for ensuring that the systems within their own professions are humane and sustainable and just for everybody, all people, all species, and the earth, they will be problem solvers. They will figure out those ways. And I don't think that this is a pie-in-the-sky vision. I actually think that this is very doable. The big hurdle is simply embracing a bigger vision for what schooling is for. Right now, when you ask most people what's schooling for, they're going to say something like, well, to provide kids with verbal, mathematical,
reading, writing, arithmetic.
Yes, scientific literacy, so that they can find jobs, and these days, the buzz phrase is, and compete in the global economy. And you know, all those things, it's important that our students be able to read and write and understand science, no question about that. But what if those were simply perceived as foundational tools? That our students need those as tools so that they can be change makers for a better world.
To make this place a better world.
So I really believe that humane education means embracing that bigger vision and then integrating it into schools at all levels. And once we do that, those students will be those future change makers, and we will watch all of these problems get solved. So I have a lot of hope on most days, because I do believe that the solution lies with youth, and it can be done.
I'll pick up the litter, I ain't no quitter, yeah. I'm glad to bend down and touch the solid ground. I'll pick up the litter. I ain't no quitter, no, no. I put my